Section 292 of the Lincoln Storybook, by Henry L. Williams. The Pioneer's Land Title. Read for LibriVox.org by Magdalena Cook. The Pioneer's Land Title. Judge Weldon was appointed United States Attorney, acting in Illinois. Being at Washington, some speculators, knowing he was an old friend of the President, engaged him for their side. They wanted to get cotton permits from the Treasury, which was feasible, but made sure that the military would recognize these passes, no doubt, if the President would countersign them. Otherwise the army officers acted often without regard to trade desires. On broaching the subject to the potentate, on whose lips so much hung at the epoch, the latter brightened up and in his branching off manner said, "By the way, what has become of your friend Robert Lewis?" Lewis was the clerk of court in Illinois, and at home, well and thrifty. "Do you remember," continued the President, "his story about his going to Missouri to look up some Mormon lands belonging to his father?" Whereupon, as Weldon said that he had forgot some details, the storyteller related with unction. This Robert Lewis, on coming of age, found papers in his father's muniments, entitling him as heir to lands in northeastern Missouri, where the Mormons had attempted settling before their enforced exodus. There was no railroad, so Lewis rode out to that part and thought he had located the land. For the night he stopped at a solitary log house. A gruff voice bade him come in, not very hospitably. The owner was a long, lanky man, about 11 feet high, Bob thought. He had a rifle hanging on its hooks over the fireplace, also about 11 feet long, Bob also reckoned. He was interrupted in necking bullets, for they were cast in a mould, and left the little protuberance where the run left off. The first comer had been there some time, and seemed to know the section, but was rather indifferent to the stranger's inquiries about this site of his lands. Teased at this unconcern, so opposite to the usual feeling of settlers who like a neighbour in the lonesomeness, Lewis hastened to lay down the law. He was looking up the paternal purchase. Here were the titles, spreading out the papers. "That is my title, to this section. You are on it. What is yours?" The other had shown some slight interest in the topic by this time. He paused in his occupation and pointed with his long arm to the long rifle, saying, "Young man, do you see that gun? That is my title, and if you do not get out of here pretty quick, you will feel the force of it." Lewis crammed his papers into his saddlebags and rushed out to bestride his pony, but said that the man snapped his gun at him twice before he was out of range. "Now," resumed Mr. Lincoln, "the military authorities have the same title against the civil ones, the guns. The gentlemen themselves may judge what the result is likely to be." Mr. Weldon reported to his employers at Willard's Hotel, and they laughed heartily at the illustration, but they did not proceed with the cotton spec, understanding that would be the administration's policy as well as if a proclamation were issued. By Judge Weldon. End of section 292. This recording is in the public domain.